these are all the things that I'm bringing to Brazil. Not sure that this was gonna be my PJs, but I'm like, should I just wear it for the plane? Good morning, everyone. This is Jack, and welcome back to my channel. I'm headed to the flyaway, and I'm walking because I'm an idiot and didn't want to wait for a 9-minute delay on a bus. But now I have to walk 15 minutes, so it's actually going to take me longer to get there. The magic isn't as strong without my partner. It's also early. But yeah, talk soon. Never got that sign that close. I freaking made it to the flyaway while walking super fast, and it took about an hour to an hour and a half to get to LAX. First all-gender bathroom. Very spacious. Interesting, baby grand. Not going back down there. Because my terminal was the last one. Oh, fancy. And what you don't know is that I got laid over for 15 hours. But let's rewind a little bit. I really like when airports try to give space to artists that aren't necessarily well known. Since you're bound to wait between flights or before your flight, you can peruse the walls that have galleries of work that are pretty unique, like this person's, where they took coils from cables and machine parts that are probably obsolete from urban spaces and created drawings, medium-sized framed artwork, as well as life-size pieces. And then we have this one, which is a stark contrast, which is more home eccy, but all of these are handmade quilts from immigrants, and they tell stories about moving to the US for the first time, or giving some to neighbors, or receiving some as neighbors, and your home is where the heart is. So that's kind of the essence of all of these quilts that are hanging on the walls, which are super colorful and have different patterns based on people's cultures, which I thought were really cool. All right, I decided to eat because it was going to be a long day of travel, and I don't purchase food on the airplane. Dude, $15.99 for a plate with 2 entrees and a side versus ham and cheese sandwich. Guess which place won. Panda Express literally is the best bang for your buck. So you had all the Asians and everybody else who decided to stay frugal without wanting to spend too much at the airport, because you know they charge so much for every little thing. Hungrier than I thought. So for those of you who don't know, my father was born in Sao Paulo in Brazil. I actually lived there after living in Buenos Aires for 2 years. This is when I was about 8 to 10 years old. The last time we visited Brazil was 15 years ago, and this time we were going to visit family graves as well as visit the northern part of the country. This is where I met the rest of my family. Nice that these are all connected. Oh my god. It's like a mini Japan. I own all of this. Crazy! Cute. Previously, our flights would stop in Miami, and I don't know why, but this time our layover was in Houston, Texas. Do you think they'd climb up there to grab those? Because they're all full. Damn, there's 3 pandas that I passed by in this airport. It's the most cost effective, so the people are there. It's a lot of bars. Not really hungry, but at least then buy like a Tex-Mex thing. And by Starbucks. We only had an hour until boarding, so my parents went to their Polaris lounge. My sister had this other lounge she went to, and I was here. However, it took us 2.5 hours to get onto the plane, and then we waited another 2 hours on the plane because of connecting flights that were delayed. Then when people wanted to deplane because there was a delay, they had to take all of their bags out at that time as well. And if you didn't know, after a certain amount amount of time, the crew actually has to deplane because they cannot go over a certain amount of hours. So you are supposed to sleep overnight and deplane in order to catch the first flight out in the morning, 10 a.m. They did give us a free hotel room and a lift to and from the airport, but we literally lose a day and had to reschedule day one of our trip. Our Lyft driver even told us a funny story about how he knew that United was going to be delayed, and so that's why he started working that night. Dude. Because he knew he was going to make a lot of money. He had the same problem with him and his friends going to Africa, and his friends were making fun of him that he was going to Paris first and they would get there before him, and then they also had a 3-day delay, and so he was able to chill and enjoy France before meeting up with them. That evening, I wrote a complaint after calling United, and I got $300 as a voucher. My mom and my family waited until after the trip, and they only got $150. When she complained again, she got $250.
Travel hack: if they give you a voucher, get a gift card so you can use all of it.
You are all so adorable.
I don't know who was talking, but I decided to leave that in because I thought it was funny. Anyway, the meal was a breakfast. It actually was decent. There were 2 eggs that were poached or something with potatoes and a couple sausages. I put my fruit in the yogurt and it was just so good. I didn't even bother eating the bread because it looked so plastic and industrialized. No thank you. The blankets were actually pretty comfy, and the TV came from underneath the center armrest. I loved that they had a whole A24 channel section where you could watch all the movies that they've ever produced that were licensed to United. My sister wasn't talking to me at this point because we left the Philippines on a poor note, but don't worry, we do make up later, and there's an awesome story to that as well. The total hours of flight was 10 hours, and luckily there was no delay this time. I decided to watch one movie on the plane, and they gave us popcorn as part of the snacks, so I crunched on that. And then it was time for lunch, and that came pretty quickly. It was a chicken and rice duo with a salad, and if you have the finances to purchase premium or plus, do it, because you get served first, you get extra leg room, and you get the blankets and pillows. I think it's worth it. It sucks that they charge for these things, but it is added comfort, especially for long flights.
Funky 47 and Melcy.
First one next to Starbucks.
Crazy with the finger ID.
Then it was time to take a shuttle to car rental, which was a good 15 minutes away.
Got the locals, which is green, and they are everywhere.
Everything was so smooth this first time we arrived in Sao Paulo, minus the place smelling like sewage when we picked up the car. But Daniel actually spoke really good English and helped us out. And then it was time to head to the apartments. They actually gave us a big suite that had 3 different rooms just because this first time. And so we decided to request it upon returning after our side trip to the north when we came back to Sao Paulo the second time. This place has its own dining area, living room, kitchen, as well as washer and dryer in one. So you don't even have to leave the room to go wash your clothes. They do have a laundry room on the second floor, but why use that when you can have your own private one? They gave us 4 bottles of water when we arrived in the lobby, and then they had 4 cans of water when we arrived in the room, as well as 4 pieces of chocolate. I think we arrived before dawn, so that's why it looks dark as hell outside, but you'll see that we unpack and kind of get ourselves situated and then go out and explore on our first day. If you are used to California time, Sao Paulo is 4 hours ahead, so it's actually further than New York. Anyways, this is a walkthrough of the entire unit, and this was in the corner of this floor. I believe we were on the 10th floor at this time, and this unit came with a balcony overlooking the city.
Definitely smells like burning trash too.
I like it. Eiffel Tower, obelisk. It's so bright. Good morning, Sao Paulo. Okay, maybe we didn't arrive at crack ass of dawn. Anyway, breakfast is from 6 to 10, and so I went downstairs to quench. Oh my god, bread. Quench is what the restaurant is called, and they close for a couple hours and then reopen for lunchtime. Lunch is not included in the stay, only breakfast is. My parents were doing some errands this morning, and my sister was still sleeping, so I had a nice quiet morning to myself. Okay, doing laundry today. I just want all of my airport stuff clean. So this is kind of a newer one, 2-in-1. There, put a little bit in there. Let's do delicate 45 minutes. I don't know. Alarm, Wi-Fi. Wow, this is really sure. Perfect place to do yoga. I don't have a mat, and the gym doesn't have mats, and it's very tight there, so I'm just gonna put down a couple of towels so I can stretch. If you've seen my Philippines trip earlier this year, you'd know that I was pretty religious with keeping the stretching going for 30 to 45 minutes every day. And here in Sao Paulo, it was a little more difficult to be consistent, but I still did it when I could. And if not the full session, I still stretched for a few minutes at least. That was the perfect amount of time for my laundry cycle to go. And then I like hanging everything to dry. I don't like how dryers warp fabric, and also it's just better, less energy to use if you dry it in fresh air anyway. Oh, cute. What? That's so cute. Ooh. Okay, pool. You gotta bring down your own towels though, I guess. There's an orchid growing out of this tree. We were going to have lunch at Jikitaya, which is actually on the Michelin guide. It is typical homemade Brazilian cuisine prepared with quality ingredients in a cozy eatery with unassuming decor with a Brazilian twist. The location is a charming 1950s house surrounded by greenery with multiple dining rooms, a plethora of wood, and beautiful photos on the walls, providing a decorative backdrop. Chef Marcelo Correa Bastos conjures up comforting traditional cuisine that feeds the body and soul.
Never seen like a Barbie.
If you ask for sparkling water and you don't ask for slices of lime, they actually give you the lime juice in a tiny cup so that you can adjust as you drink your water. We ended up trying their coxinhas, which are their specialties.
Duck rice, filet, potato salad, pork chicken.
These little fried balls with filling inside them, as well as their fried pig and a few other entrees. Then it was time to walk off our food. We decided to stroll around the neighborhood. I found a Sir Jack, who's a barber, And then I found these really cool classic cars that were toys in a display, literally in a kiosk on the street. And then if you've seen my foodie adventures, you know this store because we have it here in the US as well.
Miniso. Cute shit. Oh my god. Just as cute as back home. They have Neza. The tsundere is strong. Oh my god. Same girl.
Brother, that collab.
Yo, they got little boo-boo luggage tags though. Interesting. It fluffs up your laundry. Bands for exercise.
People do use pedestrian and bike lanes here, so be aware.
They have these things like in Japan for blind people. That's so good. Alright, we are off to Japan House.
Japan House is a cultural center that illustrates Japan through art, culture, business, tourism, education, sports, science, and technology all mixed into one space. The first floor is primarily architecture and sustainability. They also have a cafe where you can buy bonbons as well as pastries with fresh coffee and matcha. They also have a whiskey area and beautiful ceramics that you could purchase. The second floor also begins with a small store that has silk scarves, handbag holders, hokusai prints, and the like. It is also an ode to Hiroshima, and these flowers are oleanders, which are a type of orchid that create a hopeful message as the city has rebuilt itself over the years and showcases a more positive outlook in the modern times without forgetting the past. The third and final floor has a bamboo garden surrounding the outside, a cafe up here as well, / restaurant, and then an exhibition based off of their technology and the sustainability of what the typical Japanese person eats in a day and how much of it derives from nature without any processing or as little as possible. They talk about each ingredient, where parts of them are from, what to pair them with, and they are huge on fermentation. So anything like natto or rice wine vinegar or even sake all come from a fermenting process, which is really good for your gut. You guys should know we make our own kombucha. They also have dried seaweed. Seaweed and algae are going to be like the staples of our food groups, I believe, in the future, because humans are really running out of resources. And even though there are some people that are doing their best to try to replenish, I don't know if it's going to be able to feed all of us in the foreseeable future. Don't get me started on space.
Smells like Palo Santo. Cool.
Ugh, their ceramics and paper decoration are just so on point. That gold is literally a metallic paint or something. And then the last thing to look at outside was a modernized tatami mat demonstration of a room. Previously, they would have used paper sheets for their separation doors, but in this day and age, they actually use a acrylic sheet, which is obviously a plastic and it's still opaque, so a lot of light goes through, but you still have the privacy without having to mend the paper every single time it rips. Yo, live streamers are going crazy over here. All right, so the next place that we're going to is actually the House of Roses. And this is a historical landmark that has been preserved through the city. And they have a cafe that my grandmother loved to go to get a coffee when she was still alive. I'm sorry, there's no better way to say that. Casa das Rosas is also a museum and a cultural center in the Paraíso neighborhood of Sao Paulo. It opened in 1935 and they have maintained the rooms as best as they could, trying to keep the wallpaper as close to the original as possible, and the bathrooms. Honestly, my favorite part.
DIY it. This used to be my grandmother's favorite place to get a coffee downstairs. It's historically protected. Yeah, I like the pink. Old school.
This is an example of what one of the rooms like, and literally half of that space was somebody's walk-in closet, which was also in its own room. There were balconies overlooking the garden.
These plants, though. Okay, I think I like this one better.
And a lot of students came in at one point because there was a field trip, I guess. People just wouldn't move out of my way. So I had to find an opening in less than 10 seconds. Alrighty, everyone, on to the outside tour of the premises.
Tropical plants and big roses. Both of my grandmothers love roses. Wow, look at all of these. Oh, they have a pride section. Pride. Oh, can't show that. Bears. Aw, cute. Okay, queen. Those boots though. Aw, cute. I love that. What's at the end of a rainbow?
More gays, duh. Anyway, this is the cafe where my grandmother used to get coffee, and then there was this whole back area that you could walk through that has amazing brickwork. Check out this house. Yes, somebody actually lives here. Gorgeous, darling.
And even their plant maintenance is really good.
It started to rain a little bit, but no worries. We were in the car headed over to do some paperwork, and oh my gosh, we spotted this really cute collab with McDonald's and Sanrio, aka Hello Kitty. So we had to stop.
Cute! Oh, it's so cute. They serve desserts.
I mean, I'm not even that big of a fan of Hello Kitty. I'm more of a Kuromi girl, but dang, look at how amazing this wall is.
They have a double cheddar McNuggets. These are the toys. So cute. Oh my god. The rest of the light is out. Go. Sega 6.
No, the day is not over yet. We have one more place to go. Wait, two more. The first of which is a luxurious mall, and literally it has all the designer stores, and that's where we're going to have a really good dinner, also on the Michelin Guide. That cafe you saw earlier was a chocolate store. This is Iguatemi Shopping Mall. It is located in the Jardins neighborhood. Speaking of gardens, look at this interior design.
Cute. Ugh, I want this for my bathroom. Oh, it's so cute.
I love this quote. It says, "Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food," by Hippocrates. Who knew?
Bread.
So this bakery is owned by the same woman who actually owns the restaurant that we're going to this evening. Obviously, they specialize in breads, but we are there for pão de queijo, which is the Brazilian cheesy bread. We are of the same ocean.
Cheers.
Refresh. Oh, it's so gooey. Oh, it smells so good. Nice. I like this logo. This chemistry-looking sculpture is actually a clock, and it works in real time.
So cool.
I love the decor of all of these stores. They're just so well done, but also drastically different. What in the fuck, boy, is this Nike stuff? Anyway, eye bleach. Colorful pastry boxes, if you will. I mean, look at those macaron towers and also this packaging. So luxe.
Man, they really like their Japanese food here.
The levels of the mall were based off of different flowers, which are so pretty. Don't forget this gelato place because we do end the whole trip with it at the airport. I mean, look at these drool-worthy pastries. Oh my goodness. This is the ceiling of the atrium, and then this is a beautiful bookstore, and then whatever this cafe restaurant place is was also really beautiful. All right, and then it was time to hunt down for the opening of the restaurant, which was actually inside this department-looking store. Super confusing. This restaurant is called Manioka.
That's the first time I've seen a dial turn on water.
Mani was born from the union of Helena Rizzo, Giovanna Baggio, Rafael Lima, Fernanda Lima, and Pedro Paulo Diniz. It began with a search for more organic and natural food. On March 3rd of 2006, Mani opened its doors. It's a contemporary, sunny atmosphere where architectural design was guided by the pursuit of simplicity and comfort. In 2013, they received numerous national and international awards, and they were included in the annual ranking of the world's 50 best restaurants, one of the leading benchmarks of international gastronomy. Who else likes to window shop at really luxurious malls? This flower arrangement is all real. They have the cutest dogs just walking around, and this Louis Vuitton scooter Vespa thing that is made out of luggage. Come on. And then there's Louis Vuittons where, you know, they got the red soles. I don't know what this guy was doing, but there's Gacha at Carrefour, which is the grocery store that we're stopping by next. We're buying flowers for graves tomorrow. They got cheese and bacon popcorn. What? Wanjinha, aka Wednesday, season 2, was being promoted with guaraná. It's a fruit that is also Brazil's national soda. They were everywhere. That Netflix money, though. Who else is a Wednesday fan? And that concludes day 1, actually day 0 to day 1 of Brazil. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it so that other people can learn more about Brazilian culture. Subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when I have new content out. I post every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And until next week, keep curious, everyone. Jack out.